So, did I mention? Okay, so I really like Trials HD. I love it. I kind of think it is a great example, and with apologies to anybody here who may have produced other Xbla games. Other Xbla games are available. Other Xbla games are awesome, but I've picked this one as a really great example, in my opinion, of something that succeeded on its own merits, pretty much out of nowhere. Although it's fair to say that they had sold something like 150,000 on PC before, but it wasn't a big IP. But they've just succeeded through sheer great design, great tech, well, all of these things, all of these reasons. It's not a big studio. I think this is a great message for smaller studios. Although again, Red Lynx, the guys who made this game, have been around for a while and have had some success on other platforms. So, for those people who, hands up if you've never heard of Trials HD. Okay, and is that enough to have to describe it? It's a motorbike game. It's a 2D motorbike game. It's 3D graphics, but you go a lot. All you can do is speed up, slow down, move your weight on your thing, move the rider's weight back and forth. The levels start very easy and get, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard would you say those levels get?
18 or 19.
18 or 19. Exactly. Even then, you must be really good at it.
No, that's only as far as I've got.
Okay, right. Yeah, before you give up. But this game in 10 seconds. I played this on a pod, and I was walking past, and I'd never heard of it. And I played it, and I was just absolutely hooked. It immediately gets you. The tech, it looks really great. I wondered if it was Unreal Engine, but it's not. It's their own stuff. The controls are just perfectly matched to the physics. It just feels absolutely right. It's got this fantastic multiplayer mode and we can talk about multiplayer as being generally not often a good idea unless you, on Xbla, unless you are talking about the Battlefield 1943, just because there's a large number of games potentially, and you have a lot of audience fragmentation. But they've got a brilliant multiplayer mode where you don't actually play against the other people at the same time. They play and they record their times, and then you go along and you basically play against them. It's got this awesome challenge. You can choose what it is you want to, how you want to play the game. You can either you start off thinking, right, I just want to finish this damn level because it's so hard, and particularly when you get up to the later levels. So it's bronze medal. Then there's the silver and the gold medals, which are all about the times. And then they're sneaky bastards. You get the gold medal, and then you realise there's a platinum level. Oh! And then you realise it's not about the medals. It's about the leaderboards. It's about beating your friends, or at least for me. Only because I was reasonably good at it, but not as good as him and him and him, who always beat me. So the point is, you can pretty much choose how far you want to go with it. And then community features. They have an in-game level editor. This is genius. This is absolute genius. You can make your own levels, and you can share them with your friends, and you can take videos of them and put them on YouTube, and then they have Red Lynx. So I mentioned the developer who makes this, who aren't paying me, although I might ask them now. They know a thing or two about managing their community, and I know it's a very, very significant topic for this audience, and it's not a topic I'm an expert on, but there's plenty more people who have already spoken about it. But they know they arrange tournaments, they arrange web-based, the viral marketing things, all up the yin-yangs. They know exactly how to talk to their audience. They have they've got an online TV station thing with they've even their DLC is actually they released DLC recently, 35 levels, 8 megabyte download. What about that? I'm a tech guy. I don't care about these things. They had hired the people who had made the best levels and put them up on YouTube, and they hired them to do the DLC. Now that's community management. It suits this trial, the trial thing perfectly, because you're hooked like that, and they have massive attach rate by their standards. And I'd say it's not an IP you would have heard of. Okay, so you've got your killer game idea, and now you want to get it published. So let's first talk about the concept of managed and unmanaged portfolios. in an unmanaged portfolio, there's no restrictions on what you can submit, and the submission process is pretty much automatic or totally automatic, and there's no one in there to make a value judgment about your content. Very democratic, and of course that's good and bad, and there's reasons we know, or it has pros and cons, I should say. And we know that the best content on those in that model can be as good as anything in the world, but the challenge then is finding it. And so obviously the App Store is an example of that. Facebook is an example. Flickr, YouTube, these are good examples of unmanaged portfolios. So in a managed portfolio, the platform decides what you're going to publish on it. And so there is a team of experts on the platform whose job it is to know exactly what is the best for is going to work on the platform. They set standards, they maintain standards, they work with the other aspects of the platform to decide what priorities that they have, what strategies they may have. Because they are the experts in deciding what it is worth including. And an example of managed portfolios include the speaker list of this conference, the National Gallery, the Odeon Cinemas, and Xbla is another one, is a managed portfolio. So if you're going to get your title published on Xbla, different to a lot of the other channels we've talked about today, you are going to first need to show that your game is going to meet those standards. And as a developer, there's a couple of paths for doing that. So Microsoft's game publishing arm is called MGS, Microsoft Game Studios. And I should add that I don't actually work for MGS. I work for the platform. So I actually work for the third-party publishing team. So my job is to help third-party publishers use their platform successfully. And we do treat MGS as a third-party publisher in that sense. And I actually support the Rare and Lionhead and some of the other studios that are developing games for Microsoft in Europe. Now, there's hundreds of titles on Xbla that have been published in the past, and about half of them have been published by Microsoft Game Studios. So these guys are very, very experienced. They are genuine world experts on knowing what succeeds on Xbla. And they also have a tremendous network of developers, and they know how to access they know how to plumb that audience and find the right content, and they've built up some really good relationships, and many people here maybe also have those relationships with those people. Now, with that experience, signing for or talking to Microsoft Game Studios gives you the access to that experience, right? Gives you the benefit of those experts. So if you sign for MGS, you will have a dedicated producer throughout the life of the time of your project, a dedicated test lead who will help make sure that the quality is there. You'll have a dedicated first-party biz dev contact who will help you maintain your relationship with the platform and give you the sales performance reports over daily and monthly, and will help you plan your DLC and give you opportunities to potentially bring your IP to other platforms. MGS can also provide an awful lot of other services and resources that you would expect from a publisher back in our own in the sort of in the left-hand side old model that Margaret talked about. So, but games, when you're talking about games on this scale, they do need. You're talking about localization, talking about help with certification at various stages, potentially providing dev hardware, QA, focus testing, talking to the ratings boards, and so on. All of which is fairly standard stuff. And you don't have to use any of those things, but if you do, it's usually a good idea. Now, in terms of the business deals, that's something which you'd have to talk about with them. As I say, it's not. I don't work for MGS, but it's a very important thing to say that they are definitely interested in talking to independent developers. You can talk to them directly. They will take titles